The script hits 861 words, within the 900 plus or minus 5% target range of 855-945. Here it is. Right now, deep inside your brain, your hippocampus is shrinking, and the neuroscientists who study it admit they can't stop it. It's tucked behind your temples, curled like a seahorse, quietly converting your day into memory. Right now, while you watch this, and it is losing ground. The researchers who mapped this decline call it inevitable. They've published the scans. They've watched the tissue shrink year after year, decade after decade, in people who never smoked, never drank, never got a diagnosis. Healthy brains, shrinking anyway. But a small group of high performers has found one way to interrupt it, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly what it is. Here's what that shrinkage is doing to you right now, tonight, while you sleep and while you scroll. Every memory you've ever made pass through your hippocampus first. Your first kiss, your mother's voice, the password you swear you didn't forget. All of it got filed there before it moved anywhere permanent. When the hippocampus shrinks, the filing system doesn't fail all at once. It fails quietly. You misplace a word mid-sentence. You walk into a room and lose the reason. You tell the same story twice to the same person. None of it feels like decline. It feels like being tired. That's the trap. The damage is happening in a structure with no nerve endings of its own. You cannot feel your hippocampus deteriorating. You only feel the aftermath years later when the gaps are already there. Picture it like a library where the shelves are slowly moving further apart every night. The librarian, that's your hippocampus, still shows up for work. But the walk from the front desk to the archives gets longer. Some nights the walk gets so long the book never makes it back at all. That's a memory that should have stuck, a name, a fact, a face, evaporating before it's even filed. Chronic stress hormone floods this exact region and erodes it directly. Poor sleep skips the nightly maintenance shift entirely. Even sitting still for most of the day shrinks the blood supply this structure depends on to survive. The hippocampus is one of the only regions in your brain that can grow new cells in adulthood, and it is also one of the most sensitive to being slowly starved. Here's the part the experts can't fix. Neurologists can scan the shrinkage. They can name every hormone, every pathway, every mechanism involved. What they cannot do is reverse it with a pill. There is no approved drug that regrows hippocampal tissue on demand. The specialists who study this most closely will tell you, off the record, that by the time a patient walks into their office with symptoms, a measurable percentage of volume is often already gone, and medicine's tools mostly manage what's left. They don't rebuild what's lost. That's the part that doesn't make it into the pamphlet. The suppressed truth isn't a conspiracy. It's just uncomfortable. The system built to treat brain decline is built to treat it after it's visible, not before it starts. And here's where it gets counterintuitive. You've been told rest is the antidote to stress, that if this structure is under siege, the answer is to slow down completely. That's only half true, and taken too far, it can backfire. Total passive rest, day after day with no cognitive challenge, doesn't protect the hippocampus. It starves it of the very stimulation it needs to keep generating new cells. This is why retirees who stop challenging their brains often decline faster than people half their age who are still working problems daily. Comfort, in large enough doses, is its own slow erosion. So here's the rule the high performers actually use. It isn't meditation, and it isn't a supplement. It's a specific kind of movement paired with a specific kind of novelty. Aerobic exercise, real elevated heart rate, not a stroll, is the single most consistently documented trigger for new hippocampal cell growth in adult brains, but movement alone plateaus. The performers who protect this region longest stack it with unfamiliar learning immediately afterward, while the brain's growth chemicals are still elevated. A new language, an unfamiliar route, an instrument they've never touched. The exercise opens the door. The novelty is what walks through it. Skip either half and the effect drops sharply. This is the piece that never makes it into generic advice, because exercise more and learn something new sound like two separate tips. They're not. Timed together within roughly the same hour, they compound. Tonight, that means this. 20 minutes of real elevated heart rate movement, then in the hour after, immediately feed your brain something it has never processed before. Not a rerun, not a familiar podcast, something new. Do this consistently, and you are working directly against the shrinkage while the experts are still arguing about how to slow it. But the hippocampus isn't the only region quietly working against you tonight. There's another one sitting even deeper, even older, and what it's doing while you sleep is worse.